Hey guys, Kaishi Nico here. I'm going to do an updated deck profile of my Blaze Fenix deck. The last time I put out a video for this was in February. I changed it in April when I went to a regional and got 33rd place. I was 5-3, and I had, out of 241 people, round one, I had a bye. So my tiebreaker sucked, so I missed 32nd place by, well, 2 points. 1 point to get to 32nd. An extra point would have beaten the person who was already in 32nd. But yeah, it kind of sucked, kind of bummed me out. But I did get 33rd. That is the highest I've gotten at a regional before, and yeah, it was pretty fun and amazing. And I've changed the deck since then because of just adding some other cards and stuff. So here we go. 3 Cyber Valley, because it's Cyber Valley. You know, it's a discard, it's a draw card, and it's a stall card. That's about it. That's why it's in there. And it's a machine for the Blaze Fenix. Swiss Scarecrow, stall card, amazing stall card. You discard it from your hand when your opponent declares a direct attack. You negate that attack and end the battle phase. And it's a machine for the Blaze Fenix summons. Next is 3 Hero Heats. Because it's the Pyro of the deck, it also gains 200 attack for each face-up elemental hero on the field. So when it hits the field, it is a 1800 attack monster because it gives it for itself too. Now we have 2 Claymen, 2 Burstinatrix, 2 Avians, and 2 Bubblemen. They're needed for the Electrum summons, and also they're good in their own way. Bubbleman is good because, you know, if he's the only card in your hand, you can special summon him, and then if he's normal summoned, flip summoned, or special summoned, and there's no other cards on the field or in your hand, you get to draw 2 cards. So he's a good top deck card if you have nothing. Next is Cataville Omen. I added it. I wanted to add it for that regional, but I was not able to. I actually got them at the regional after I'd already handed in my deck list, so I couldn't change it. It has a flip effect. You select 1 trap card from your deck, put it on top of your deck, and then if Necro Valley is on the field, you get to put it into your hand instead. So it's good to bring out whatever traps I need, and if I'm playing against Gravekeepers, it works great because then they'll have Necro Valley on the field, and I'll just put the card in my hand. 2 Marshmallow. Last but not least, of course, it's Marshmallow because it's the great card. It's a good stall card. You know, it can't be destroyed by battle, and when your opponent attacks it and it flips face up, it does 1,000 damage to them, so it helps burn them down a little bit. And people hate it. People hate it, and I love that people hate cards in this deck because I love this deck. That's it for the monsters. Next to the spells, got 3 Fusion Gates. It's Fusion Gate. You need it for the fusion summoning. It's a great card, and the fun thing about it is when you go to Fusion Summon and people go to use Solemn Warning or Solemn Judgment on the Fusion Summoned monster, they can't do it because it's the effect of a card that's already activated, not the activation of a effect that would special summon. So yeah. Terraformings, 2 of them. Only need 2 because 3 clogs up your hand and becomes a dead draw. 3 One Day of Peace because it's a great stall card. Both players draw a card, and then neither player takes any damage until the end of your opponent's next turn. So usually I'll play it and not put anything on the field because there's no point because I won't take any damage if they decide to go and attack me with anything. Which some people do still attack me even though I won't take any damage. 1 Heavy Storm, 1 Super Poly, 1 Pod Duality. Get cards I need. Get rid of monsters that my opponent has that I don't want them to have, and Heavy Storm to get rid of their back rows. Self-explanatory, but I decided to explain it anyway. That's it for the spells. Next to the traps, 3 Chain Materials. You need the card in the deck to make the whole loop, combo work. Anytime you would fusion summon, you can use materials from your hand, deck, field, or grave. They have to be removed from play instead of going to the graveyard, but Fusion Gate does that anyway. You cannot attack on the turn you play the card, and at the end of the turn, any fusion monsters on the field are destroyed. And so the thing those are 2 drawbacks to it: the not attacking and the destruction of the fusion monsters, but doesn't really matter because usually if you've done it right, you kill your opponent on that turn anyway, before your turn ends. 2 Dust Tornadoes, because I was running MSTs. In the old video, I believe I had Dust Tornadoes in it, and then I took them out to run MSTs. The MSTs were working. I went to regionals with the Dust Tornadoes, but the MSTs have been working better, but then now people are putting more traps down and stuff, so that I can just, set the Dust Tornado, and then on their end phase, I'll activate it to destroy, and then I'll set, destroy a card, and then I'll set a spell or trap, usually chain material, to then, use it on my next turn. So, yeah, that's it. 2 Reckless Greeds. Reckless Greed is amazing because you get to draw 2 cards, even if you have to skip 2 turns. Usually I draw what I need when I use it. Sometimes I don't, but that's, it's the way you roll the die. But I wasn't using it for a long time, thought I should, and I put it in, and it's been working perfectly. 2 Dark Bribes, basically to, spell and trap negation, get rid of those Solemn Judgments, and those Heavy Storms, and MSTs, and stuff like that. And 1 Starlight Road. I put in Malefic Stardust, because I was trying to protect my field spell, but I was like, why, just recently I was contemplating it, I was like, why would I just protect the spell, the field spell, when I can put in a monster with the same amount of attack and protect everything? So that's why I decided to put in Starlight Road. So they go to do like Heavy Storm or Dark Hole, I go Starlight Road, and I say nope, and then anytime they try to destroy anything from that point on with Stardust on the field, I can just use Stardust as effect. So on to the extra deck. 3 Blaze Phoenixes. These are Korean Blaze Phoenixes, because Korea got them. Hold on, the camera is gonna. There it goes. Korea got them ultra rares, and we only got them as super rares. So, but yeah, I like my Korean ones. They only cost me like $3. And yeah, so Blaze Phoenix, main card of the deck. It's what caused the burn damage to do the loop. It's a pyro itself. It needs a pyro and a machine. Once per turn, you can do 300 damage to your opponent for each card on the field, including your side. That's all on the field, and it can attack the turn that you use the effect, but chain material stops you from attacking anyway. It's a 2800 attack, 2300 defense monster. It's a great card. 2 Ab-Zeros, self-explanatory, blow shit up, and it got E-Heroes in it, so I might as well put in the E-Heroes. Electrum, great card. When he's fusion summoned, all banished cards go back to their decks, including your opponent's cards. He's also considered a water, wind, fire, and earth monster for earth attribute. And then he gains 300 attack for each monster your opponent controls that shares an attribute with him. He's 2900 attack, 2600 defense. The losing priority does not hurt him, because his effect is when he's fusion summoned, all banished cards go back to their deck. So even if my opponent does a bottomless trap hole or torrential or whatever on him, it doesn't hurt him, because he'll still get his effect off. All the materials go back to my deck, so I can keep doing the loop, and there we go. But let's say one gets Fiendish Chained, the other one gets Veilered when I try to bring them both out. When Gustav Max comes out, they're both level 10, so I'm just going to overlay them for Gustav Max, detach for 2000 damage, and then I'll have a 3000 monster on the field in case I wasn't able to kill them that turn. So yeah, this card is amazing. I run 2 because 3 I never got out the third one. And there is a Gustav Max Electrum build that I came up with that uses Gustav Max and Gaia and Electrum, and of course the chain material fusion gate, and just loops bringing out Gustav Max over and over again to burn my opponent for the 8000 damage, which takes forever to do. 1 Escarado, or Escaradeo, 1 Gaia, 1 Great Tornado, 1 Nobremaster, and 2 Shinings. I will probably take out a Shining for the Gustav Max when it comes out. 1 Stardust Dragon, and 1 Gemnite Pearl. Gemnite Pearl is probably going to come out for Excalibur, because Excalibur is amazing. It becomes a 4000 attack monster until the end of your opponent's next turn, or until the end of your opponent's turn. So he's a good little wall, and I can run over things with him. This is the side deck, 2 DD Crows to get rid of things like Grapha. And like 6 AMs and stuff, because he gains 2000 attack and defense when battling a warrior type monster. 2 Neko Main Kings for Dark Worlds, Wind Up Hand Loop, and Empty Jar decks. Even though I might take out one of each and put into Maxis, or just take out the Neko Main Kings and put in Maxis. All depends. I haven't really decided yet. 2 D-Fissure, basically because decks hate D-Fissure. They like to put stuff in the grave, especially when they're like synchro summoning and they want their materials in the grave to do other things, or even detaching and stuff like that. Even though detach, but D-Fissure on the field, they still go to the grave. But cards that need effects that activate in the grave, they can't activate in the grave if they're not sent there. So D-Fissure works great. 2 MSTs to side out the Dust Tornadoes for, because people like to side deck World Decrees, so might as well just swap out my Dust Tornadoes for MSTs and get rid of those World Decrees and stuff. 1 Super Poly, because you can't have too many, even though 3 would be too many. More than 3 would be too many, actually. But yeah, Super Poly is great. And then there's a card that when I was watching the Return of the Duelist before it came out, and I was watching it for the OCG, I knew machines were going to be a problem. I knew Geargias were going to be great. So I put in System Downs. And then lo and behold, this past YCS at Rhode Island, the top deck, the one that won the YCS, was a Karakuri Geargia deck. And there was two Karakuri Geargias in the top 16, and there was a Geargia Gadget and a Geargia Machina Geargia deck. So they're pretty strong, and so this is a great card to have in a side deck against them. And I put in 2 just to make sure I can get my point across that I don't want them to have their monsters on the field, and especially if they bring out, let's say they do the Karakuri one and they bring out all their like Bureys and stuff like that, and they go to attack me and I drop a Swift Scarecrow, they end their turn, or they end the battle phase, and so then they'll do whatever, and they'll end their turn, and then my turn, I go System Down, pay 1,000, and then remove from play all their machines from the field and from their graveyard. So they've just lost everything that they've played because they went straight hard to OTK and lost it all. And that's why Swift Scarecrow is an amazing stall card, because they don't see it coming. But yeah, that's the deck. Thank you for watching. This is actually a shorter video than the last 5 times that I've tried recording this. And so, rate, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, favorite, do whatever people do on Facebook, on YouTube. Thanks again for watching, and I'll have more videos out soon. See ya.